Hi, this is Danny Elliott, and this is my persuasive speech on Doomsday, December 21st, 2012. I'd like to welcome you here to the VA domiciliary with a few of my fellow veterans, and this is what we're going to talk about. It's exactly 377 days before December 21st, 2012. I'm sure that you've heard about December 21st, 2012. They call it the Doomsday, when the world is supposed to cease to exist. Or Doomsday, the time when humanity will no longer affect. Well, hopefully today I'm able to share with you some things, some pretty astonishing information about this particular date, this catastrophic date that's supposed to happen, and allow you to come up with a realistic and a profound judgment yourself as to the truth behind Doomsday, December 21st, 2012. And what I'll be talking about is several different things. Number one, I'll be talking about how did they come up with that date? Number two, what do others say about that? Number three, what will you be doing on that day? And number four, what will I be doing on that day? Well, first, let's look at how they came up with that day. I'm sure that most of y'all have probably seen the Mayan long count calendar before, that picture. That's the Mayan long count calendar that the Mayans came up with. Some call it the Mesoamerican calendar. And it's actually a calendar that the Mayans came up with that goes for 5,126.37 years. And they say that at the very end of that is when something catastrophic is supposed to happen. Well, the long count calendar actually ends on December 21st, 2012. But you know, the amazing thing about a calendar, at the end of any calendar that you have, whenever it comes to December the 31st, and you flip that calendar over, what happens? It starts all over again, right? And that's exactly what's going to happen with that calendar right there. All it is simply doing is that it is at the end of that calendar, at that count time. And then a new long count begins again, is what happens on that. Well, others have talked about this gentleman right here, Nostradamus. How many of you have heard of Nostradamus?
Yeah.
And about Nostradamus's 2012 predictions on there. Well, the amazing thing about Mikhail Nostradamus is that he did write a lot of quatrains, and a lot of people have found things that could or could not be possibly true that he predicted. But you know the amazing thing about Nostradamus and his predictions? They've never been able to figure it out until after the event has happened, right? So it's kind of hard to believe that they can come up with predictions of anything that he writes out of his quatrains, seeing how they've never been able to predict anything that's coming up in the future before. They've only been able to look at his quatrains after the event has happened and said that it's not like that. So that's Nostradamus. Another thing that they say is aliens. Aliens are coming. Well, this is the Anunnaki. Anunnaki, by the Sumerians, came from a planet called Nibiru. Nibiru, or Planet X, is supposed to be the planet that they came from, and they came way back yonder, and you saw them with the wings and stuff, and that they actually used part of their DNA with some of the DNA of the Genesis here on Earth, and created mankind to help go to mine gold for them to replenish their world. But something happened, and there was a conflict between a couple of them. They had these big wars and these big fights, and they left. And they were supposed to come back, and so that they predict that they're going to come back when? December the 21st, 2012. But here's a problem with that. According to NASA, this planet right here should be able to be seen decades ago coming towards us. Well, there's no such planet coming at us at any time like that. So that pretty well disqualifies that notion on that right there. And then they talk about the alignment of the planets. That December 21st, 2012, oh, there's going to be a great alignment of the planets. And the alignment of the planets will align directly with the sun, and the sun will directly align up with the very center of the Milky Way galaxy. And all of a sudden, this gravitational pull is going to be as such that there'll be great solar flares and the Earth will be consumed with fire. Well, to begin with, according to NASA, on December the 21st, 2012, there's not going to be such an alignment. None whatsoever. And even if there were such an alignment, if you can imagine a bowling ball, and there are 8 flies flying around it, and all 8 of these flies just happen to get in the same alignment, how much force would 8 flies have against that bowling ball? Not much. So, to begin with, that disqualifies that notion of December 21st, 2012. So now, let's look about what other people say. You've heard about Armageddon on there. The Bible prophecies about Armageddon and the end times and stuff. And how there are these diverse earthquakes and famines and things. Well, we've seen earthquakes here recently, haven't we? We've seen famines in diverse places. But even if you're a theologian, it says that these things will happen from time to time. And even in Revelations it talks about these things happen. But if you are a religious person looking at that Bible, it says that no man knows the date or time whenever that's going to happen, not even the Son. So if Jesus doesn't even know, how can we? So that kind of dispels that. Others say that it is going to be a new spiritual awakening, that there's going to be some spiritual transformation in mankind on December 21st, 2012, on that. And that we will come to a like mind, a higher mind, a higher level of mind set. Now let's talk about what are you going to do on December the 21st, 2012? Are you going to want to gather your family close together and spend close time with them at that time? Are you yourself going to want to have some type of spiritual awakening in yourself? Or you want to, go underground and store up all your food and stuff like they've been storing the seeds up in Antarctica for some cataclysmic happening that's going to happen? Well, let's talk about what I'm going to do on December 21st, 2012. I'm going to be in a little place probably called Antonolok, Turkey. And that's looking out the front door of the beach house where I'll be staying. And right there's the nice little beach, and across there is Greece, and that's the Aegean Sea. So what I plan to be doing on December the 21st, 2012 is spending a nice winter solstice day sitting right there on the beach, and hopefully perhaps writing a part of my book that I'd like to finish, called From a Sparrow's Point of View, and probably have a nice little tasty drink in my hand, one of those little frozen drinks, and enjoying the day. So let's go back over this, what we've talked about. We talked about that it's 377 days to that great December 21st, 2012. The doomsday that theorists predict is going to happen. We looked at how did they come up with that date. We looked at what do others say about that date. We looked at what you're going to do, and we looked at what I'm going to do. But here's the clincher on here. Antonolok, Turkey, is 8 hours away from here. So if something is really going to happen on December 21st, 2012, and it's going to be catastrophic, I'll make sure I call you and let you know that it's going to happen. How about that? And that's my persuasive speech.